low key, when I was reading this the first time, I thought this is, and I was like, as Adobe, so below, as within, so without. And I was like, what does Adobe have to do with anything here? Look at this. Look at this, dude. What a beautiful looking board. Alex is pushing me to hit the checkout button on the Duality. It's a nice keyboard. So, right off the rip, let's talk about a few things, all right? Price point of this, I'm sure you guys probably saw. I think Simon weighed in on this a little bit. It's a little higher. I don't remember the USD version, so I'm gonna talk to you guys in CAD, but it's 677 CAD. If someone has the exact USD version, then let me know. But yeah, it's a little bit on the higher end. I think it deserves to be there though. I think that kind of makes sense. So a few things about this board. The side profile is absolutely beautiful. I don't know if you guys can really, here's a good angle of it. Beautiful looking side profile. You get a little bit of everything. So you get a lot of different tonality just from using the shadows of everything too. And then both materials, which is really cool. Not both materials, but both kind of finishes. Awesome looking side profile. The back of this board's also looking really good with these extended curves over here. The bottom is one of my favorite parts about this board. Weight aside with the cool horns, like that's aside. This gradual kind of fade on the side here, man, beautiful. And then let's talk about something else. This is something that I haven't seen in a keyboard yet, which I think is gorgeous. This is like a powder coat. We had like a little chat about what this exactly was because I was curious. It's like a powder coat, so it's a different finish. I don't think I can do justice to tell you guys and show you guys that this is not the same as the Anno. I don't know if you guys will be able to see some of that texture. Probably not in this light. It's too light of a color to kind of see that. I might have to take some macro shots of it, but there is a bit of a texture difference between this and this, which I kind of like. I think this adds to the keyboard a little bit, right? Love it. Now, I'd say like the more devil imagery or whatever, because I don't know what character this is from, whatever it is, but hey, if you guys like this, you guys like this. If you guys don't, you guys don't. I know there are tons of people who kind of like this kind of style. I think that's to me, it's really weird. I get a lot of Binding of Isaac vibes from this board. I don't know why I do, but I just do, man. I think it's because Binding of Isaac uses a lot of this imagery too in the game. So I get, do you get that too? Red board for the Red Devil. This is actually more of like a burgundy. It's not quite like devil red. I get Isaac vibes as well. Isn't it cool? But yeah, then we got the copper internal weight over there, which kind of peeks out from the bottom. I don't think I have feet to put on this today, but, and we have as above. I'm not gonna lie. Listen, a Streamline, I love you, but low key, when I was reading this the first time, I thought this is as Adobe. And I was like, as Adobe, so below, as within, so without. And I was like, what does Adobe have to do with anything here? It low key looked like Adobe. I understand now it says above, but I thought this said Adobe. Adobe's the devil. Yeah, with their subscription prices. Okay though, so that's pretty much the externals of this. We'll dive into the internals, which I think we have a lot to talk about here in a bit too. But for now, I'm just gonna put this over to the side. We're gonna be building with Autumn Rain switches. I'm pretty positive these are Autumn Rains. Let me check the build notes quick. I've used these before, I've liked them. So we got Palm, and then we also have some other plates, but I kind of want to do Palm today. We have 2 aluminum plates. What PCB are we going with? So, that is a great question because we had a meeting about different pieces, but I never had the PCBs until literally this morning. So, we're going to play guessing games. Dude, my hair is sticking up everywhere. This one? I don't know if this is the right one to use. Probably best to use? Okay. We'll use this guy here then. So, there we go. Pretty nice. This is the hot swap version. I believe there is a solderable version of the PCB. Let me double check. Pretty positive. Actually, is there? Is there a solderable version? Oop, I full screen this. But yeah, in terms of like compatibility wise, I think this has just about everything you need. You know, step caps, split back, split right. We got some good stuff on this. No, these are Cthulhu's. The Autumn Rains I thought I was going to use, but I ended up wanting to use these. Duality by Slipknot. Oh. Chozo, I'm not going to lie, it's been a long time since I listened to Slipknot, all right? It's been a long time, all right? So one thing I can already notice, and you guys might be able to see, is we have some angled screws, which, not a half bad idea. Not a half bad idea. Kind of keeps the screws out of, I guess, visual sight, and kind of makes it a little easier to kind of go in there and unscrew them. The Bion bolt, all hail Lord Bion. So we just kind of tackle the screws like this, and it makes for a pretty easy installation. Way better than the hidden screws that have been done before, which usually you have to like clip things on the switches, etc., etc. You can see how those angled kind of screw areas work, which is kind of nice. Really cool. Also like will kind of act as your alignment system for the plates too, which is pretty awesome as well. So really appreciate that. The angle isn't awkward? No, not at all. Again, I think it would be a lot more like ease of use if you had just been able to kind of like pull it out with the magnetic screwdriver and stuff like that, but really nice. Really, really nice. Really appreciate that. We'll get the tadpoles on here in a second too. Let's take this guy here out. Ooh, this is gonna be fun. Tweezers are your friend? Yeah, you could use tweezers too. You know what? I'm just this is easier. So, here is the weight. This is the part I'm improving on, by the way, Alex. Honestly, Streamline, I don't think it's that big of a deal unless you were to add some sort of... Okay, here's my thoughts, right? If you really want to improve the build experience with this, perhaps, hear me out, add some sort of way or some plastic tool, some plastic shim or something like that, that you can grab the weight with and then use your other hand to pick it up so you don't accidentally drop it. Even if you had some sort of like finger area where you can kind of like lift this up nicely, or maybe on both sides, I don't know. But that could be ideal too. Could be a little bit of a change you could do if you really want to improve the build experience. But there's plenty of boards that already have this kind of like you flip it over, be very careful. But there's always room to make the build experience better. Kind of like a finger lip, yeah. The weight part in the JST is the most awkward for sure. JST connectors are always awkward when it comes to like putting them underneath a weight. I don't know how you guys personally feel about having the build experience be like a priority. But I've always really enjoyed a build experience. I am the first person to actually say, I don't want to open this up. If it was a terrible build experience or just a challenging one, and I know that there's other ways to mod it, I am probably not going to open it back up. Like, I just don't want to go through the hassle sometimes, you know? Tadpoles can be pretty hit and miss with me, but I feel like with a palm plate, they work, you know? I feel like with a palm plate, they're pretty nice. Ooh. I have a good feeling about this. I got you all in the production, I swear, magnetic screws. Thank you, Streamline. I still really like these angled screws. This is still really nice. Less fuss than sometimes the screws that can drop all the way down, but still, magnetic screws should be pog. Because right now the spacebar seems like it's sitting Something's underneath of it over here. I have to double check what that is. I don't know what happened there, but I'll probably just end up unscrewing it really quickly right now. I don't think it's this. There's nothing else that could be doing, unless the plate has a little bit of, or the PCB has a little bit of a bend. But it is causing everything to kind of sit janky over here. The only other thing I can think of, which might also make sense, is the palm plate might be a different size compared to the PCB. But it does look like the PCB is warped. It does look like the PCB is a bit warped. And you know what I think we should probably do then? It's also making our spacebar sound really weird. I can kind of see that. It's definitely the, yeah, it's the plate. This is gonna be such a pain, dude. See what's going on? It's bending the PCB. I just like push the PCB up in the middle. So it's definitely the plate. The palm plate's not doing us any justice today. I also agree with you when it comes down to palm and PC. Palm is usually more likely to give me headaches like this. Oh boy. Do you have a little plastic thing under the TX tab? No, I don't like using those things. No, I mean, it's tadpole. We can tadpole it from the PCB. But yeah, this is a giant pain in the ass now. Well, unfortunate. I got really excited to actually test this. I'm going to take off the palm plate. Also, like I said, I kind of prefer PC over palm. Palm's usually not my favorite thing to go to, but I thought maybe we could use palm in place because we don't have a PC plate. Very warped. And if we put pressure back into making sure this is nice, it bends the PCB. That's okay. Let me just take off the switches here. We'll use the aluminum plate or something like that. Yeah, this is straight. This is like dead straight. There is no warp happening with this. That was definitely the plate. All right, what else do we got here? So just so we can have a fair reference, with the alu plate, it is the right size, so there's no bending of anything that's happening right now. I will admit though, the disassembly process, even with this though, still is a little bit tedious, which I don't mind. All right, let's take a little look at the board now that we've actually put this together. Okay, Daifuku, great choice by the way. Absolutely insane choice. There's that side profile again. I think this is so lovely. It is such a good side profile. Yeah, the side profile is kind of tough. It's kind of tough. Beautiful, beautiful back as well. I think this looks great. I don't have any feet for this, so we're not going to test it with feet today. There's our bottom piece. I also think this looks really cool. Again, this might not be your cup of tea being the imagery here. It is what it is. And then the front also has a little bit of that material kind of coming up on the front over here on the lip. I think that looks really nice. I think that's very classy. Kind of breaks up the design a little bit too. And there we go. Here's the side profile of the board. From the side over here. I'll give you guys a little HJ test. I haven't tuned any of the stabs, by the way. I'm genuinely surprised by the alpha sound here. A DN test. Let's see what this sounds like with the, oh my God, tadpole mounts, and then we'll swap over to the O-ring. I don't think this aluminum plate, again, just me, will sound very good with the top mount, but deep, actually. That is a crazy deep spacebar. I do need to tune it a little bit, and it's bothering me, so we're going to tune it right now. That is crazy deep for a spacebar. I did not expect that coming from Tadpole Mount at all. I really like that, though. That is real nice. Okay, that sounds... Tuning a spacebar really does make a difference, by the way, guys. That sounds real good now. Ooh. Okay, so these all need to be tuned, but the spacebar we tuned, incredibly deep spacebar for Tadpole Mount, an aluminum plate. This is incredibly deep. Did not expect this coming out of this combination of stuff. So again, not a big deal, but just a comment that I'm gonna make. This is also why hidden screw designs aren't traditionally my favorite, but because you kind of have to take out keycaps and yada, yada, yada. Not a big deal, I'm just saying from like an ease of use standpoint. Yeah, dude, this is nice. This genuinely sounds really nice. I think it has its own kind of sound signature too, which is kind of cool, right? You really don't see that all too often. Okay, let's swap this to O-ring now. I don't know, I hope this is nice and O-ring. All right, we already did the Tadpole a little earlier as well. So let's see what this is gonna sound like now with the O-ring. Little HJ test. Little DN test. Oh. I like this one more. Ooh, good arrows too. This sounds really nice. You sound nice? Thanks, Burbs. Okay, we built this up already. And it ended up sounding, I'm not gonna lie, pretty deep. Deeper than I expected it to sound, but I preferred the O-ring with the aluminum plate. Now, a few updates that Streamline sent me this morning is the MOQ got hit, so this is gonna get made, which is awesome. And then also he took everything that we talked about, Streamline took it all, and he already has worked on it. So basically, the few things that he's already done is revisions to the weight, because we had problems taking that out. It's not the most conducive thing to take out in the world. It's kind of awkward and tricky. And then also the JST placement slash channel is also being worked on too, which is awesome. Which means that the final product of this build will only get better. Love when vendors take feedback and make revisions. I'll put the Bloodline top back in the box. Let's take this guy. It's a nice color. All right. Now, I want to top mount this. Do I want to top mount this? I think I do. Oh, no, it's not top mount, rather. It's, I'm going crazy. It's not top mount. It's tadpole, which is basically, I feel like it's the same thing. Hi, Alex. Tried the GAT V2 stab. It works perfectly fine. GAT V2 stabs probably are really good overall. I haven't really tried GAT V2 stabs in a while. I've always thought that GAT stabs are good, just I don't really try them that often. This is already pre-done with Zaku switches. So these are a long pull switch. The last one we had used the aluminum plate with the other switches that they gave us, which are... I'm not going to lie to you guys, I don't remember what these are. I think they're... Streamline, what are these again? Cthulhu's? Cthulhu's, I think so. And they're Cthulhu's, yeah. These are the Zaku's. This is the original config I wanted to try, but we could not try it the other week when we did the Duality. The Duality had the same plate, but that plate there, I think it was exposed to some elements, and unfortunately it was larger than, or smaller or larger, I don't know. It shrank or grew, I don't remember which one it was. It didn't work because it didn't actually sit on the PCB okay. Unfortunate, but not much I can really do, not much Streamlight can do. Something that he might have to look into for the future, but I've seen this happen with Palm before. It's just a thing that happens. But this is Palm, and this is with Zaku's, and this is with the, what are they called? Tadpole mounts. So this is, again, the config I wanted to try, because I had a feeling I would love this config. I really liked the tadpole mount, tadpole with the aluminum, and I thought the O-ring in the aluminum sounded really nice. They were really deep sounding board with this. I thought this was awesome, pretty unique sound signature. Don't really see too many boards with that particular layer of things work that way. But this is the one I really wanted to try. So these are Zaku's plus Palm, and this is, there's no foam, no nothing. With the, I think there's only one set. I don't think there's gonna be multiple offerings of tadpole mounts for durometers. But here's what this is gonna sound like now. So I'll give you guys a little HJ test. Yeah, this is. Oh, this is nice. I think I prefer this the most out of everything. I wanted to build this original, like I said. Maybe where this falls short ever so slightly is I think I did prefer the O-ring for the mods. It made the mods sound a little bit more full. But I think the alpha's in the space bar, so not the other modifiers. Yeah, I don't really love the shift on this one. But I mean, this is not really, this particular key to me is not a big deal. The shift sounds good on the left side. Seems to be kind of over here where the cross section is in the TKL, which is kind of what I've seen sometimes with top mount boards or tadpole mount it. But that's way nicer. It comes across a lot more like lively than the O-ring on the aluminum. Could also be the switches too. You can kind of get a sense of what this sounded like too outside. It was just a lot deeper. Nothing wrong with that. I think this is still my preferred. This is a mellow keyboard if I've ever heard one. So pleasant. The whole board does lean a lot deeper. Like, I don't think this sounds as crispy and as clacky, which is not a bad thing, as something like the Envoy or some of the other builds that we've done. But this whole thing leans a lot deeper. How is this deeper? Okay, listen in comparison to the Envoy. Here, listen. They're both using long pull switches. I don't care what anyone says, long pull switches all kind of have the same sound signature. Listen. This is way brighter. So just so you guys can kind of tell the difference, right? Depth deeper? Yeah, it's definitely deeper. So this is leaning towards that deeper sound. And again, it's all preference. You know, like for me, in my head, like I think both sound great. I would use both of them because they both provide me a different sound signature. I already know people are probably going to say they don't sound like too different. But I can hear the difference. To me, it's like night and day. Like I can 100% tell the difference. And I've had people tell me that all keyboards sound the same, and I get that. Like some people are just, everyone hears things a little different too, right? This is more my style. I think this looks really nice. This kind of, again, I kind of look at what also reflects in the light better, like what looks better in certain lighting conditions. This looks, to me, I like this color way better. Obviously, this is completely preference based. It's not like it's a different shape or anything. I just like the way it looks better. That curve, yeah, this is really pretty. Extremely pretty board. Yeah, I think this board's solid. I don't think there's anything I would... Obviously, I've already stated my changes in the last stream. There's 3 things total I think that were really important to me to get changed. I think Streamline already addressed all 3. But no, this is nice. Very well... Like, I just think this keyboard was designed really well, like, aesthetically. Beautiful.